Degloirespace signing in. Let's talk about something that people either romanticize about it or feel pity for themselves for being in it. What is that thing? Being single. It's funny how when people are in relationships, sometimes when you're talking to them, and if you're the single one, they'll be like, sometimes I wish I was single. I'd have done this, this, and that. I'd have invested. I'd have studied. I'd have traveled. I'd have... And then, when they're single, they're like, I don't know what's wrong with me, why I'm not finding anyone. Women out there are just not, they're just not at it. All I want is a family. You hear that kind of stuff. Today we'll talk about it in a different light, embracing it. This is going to be a 3-part series about the definitive guide for being single. The first thing you need to ask yourself is, why am I single? So, why are you single? It could be that you haven't dated yet. It could be that you just came out of a relationship. Or it could be that you made a conscious decision that I don't want to date until I get 1, 2, 3 done. Whatever the situation is, let me tell you that being single is actually a necessity. Not all the time. Don't go to extremes. But it's a necessity that sometimes in our lives we need to actually be alone to kind of like reorganize everything and then just see, this is what I need to do. This is because you're alone. When you're in a relationship, you're always thinking about the other person with you. And sometimes your thinking is not enough. You might drag that person to the wrong thing. You might put them in a bad situation just because you want to achieve some of your things. And vice versa, sometimes they could be pulling you to something that you don't want to be in right now. In this particular circumstance, it's not always about they love me, they don't love me. But let me give you the good news. This is the first time in history where being single is a strategy and a luxury that no one before us had. Why is it a luxury? I'll tell you in just a moment, but if you like what you're hearing, please don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. And share it with someone who you think will benefit from hearing this. I'm sure you know somebody who's single, someone who you've had a few words about this with. This isn't advice, it's a realignment. And Degloirespace is about walking your path, not chasing someone else's. Back with the program. So why is it a luxury? In the old times, only extreme figures could afford such a lifestyle. When I say afford, I mean like even mentally. They were the only ones who could make such bold decisions like, I'm alone, I need to do this, I need to travel there. Most other people lived in small communities, in villages, and in those villages, marriage and having kids and a family was just part of the process. And if you didn't do any of these for some reason, you were labeled as the exception. Who were the ones that made these bold decisions? If you look at it, people more like the warriors, the seekers, the explorers, these people, they were the exception to the rule that would do it with absolute pride. They figured out that they needed their alone time to find something meaningful. Not necessarily a meaningful relationship, but a meaning in their life. Think of people like the Buddha, Musashi. Think of the people like the prophets, the sages, the explorers, the scientists. Think of these kind of people. These people would be more like mythical characters. But now in our lives, they've become more and more relatable. In these times that we live, meaning to our lives is more important to us than just continuing the process. Back in the old days, you had your farm that you inherited from your fathers, forefathers and all that, and then you'd work that land, and then you have kids and they continue that. Now in our modern lives, that's not really the way that most of us who live in big cities do. We have more, go search for your path, go to university and pick one of these courses, and you look online and you see big things happening and you want to be a part of it. Some of us in a few years might be going to Mars. So we look for meaning to our lives. We can now afford to travel. Ambition is possible for everybody. As technologies are getting better, it's made us feel like, hey, I can do more, I can be more. We want to experience the limits of what my current body, current personality, current person can experience. And sometimes, depending on who you are, where you are, what you've learned, this could only be had if you're single. You might have wanted to achieve clarity in your life. There's been so much in your past that you feel you want to just push away and start afresh. You can do that. And you happen to be one of those personalities who, just because I fell out of one relationship doesn't mean I have to monkey branch into another one. And if there's one thing we know now, is that being desperate doesn't really pay off. Relationships aren't lasting that long. It's not like, oh, I'm desperate, you get something, oh, thank God I found it, and then it lasts. You're just going to end up in a situation that lasts, the average they're saying now is like 6 years, 5, 6 years, and then, oh, you're on your own again. This breakup in relationships now could be because a lot of us are feeling unfulfilled. And so we meet someone, we expect them to fill that part, but they're unfulfilled too. And remember, if they're unfulfilled, you're unfulfilled, do you think you guys are going to be fulfilled? 0 and a 0 don't give you 1. So our first step is to know why we're single. Remind yourself, talk to yourself, embrace it, work with it. If you're single not by choice, and you do want someone, you do want to start a family, you do want to have kids, that's fine as well. Embrace the moment that you're single. Right now you're single. We need to accept that. Don't treat yourself like a peasant. But this we're going to leave to part 2. Degloirespace signing out.